Hello, everybody. Welcome to With Wisdom, Embodying Energy and Embracing Seasons. And my name is Sam, and I'm one of your hosts and my co-host. How are you today?
Hi, everybody. Here, Gabriela. Happy to join you today, Sam, in this early July.
I know, July, we're flying by. I cannot believe we are post-midsummer in that fullness and well, I would say, see, summer for me is June, July, August, right in the bang of the middle of summer now when it's warm, hopefully for everybody, warm and things are flourishing and growing. So, what's coming up for you in this early July, Gabby?
Well, Sam, many things. Right now, very alive. That just listen,
Mm,
it's the fact that I have been living 20 years already in Europe, which,
wow, 20 years.
yeah, you see.
It's amazing.
Years and it's 20 years of living with these four seasons. No, I come from a
Mm,
country where there are two seasons, rainy and dry season.
mm,
It has been quite a journey, no, of living into this rhythm, in this another rhythm, different from the one I grew up.
yeah.
And I was listening to you, thinking how in Venezuela we like try to fit into a model of season we were not living naturally, in the sense
Okay.
of we had like our vacation on summer vacation, like in the northern hemisphere, although it's the time of rains. So many people go to like the beach, but it's rainy. It's like we try, just reflecting back to say, it's funny, no? We try to fit into something or a model
Mm,
we didn't fit. And now that I'm living here, it has been quite a beautiful thing to be more embedded into this seasonality, but from maybe because it's the dominant thing, no? The northern hemisphere telling what seasons we should live. Now
mm,
we are telling about the flourishing, but maybe people listen from the southern hemisphere and the experience is different. So yeah, that was coming alive. And in this seasonality, when I'm feeling more like in tune and in synchronicity with the nature and the rhythms that are around me, I'm feeling the energy that is increasing, no, in July, end of June. That is so it has been increasing in heat,
yeah,
in
absolutely.
the weather, but also in our lives in the world. And it came alive about everything is heating up, no? Our
Mm,
conversations might be heating up, um, even heating up in the sense we are getting more willingness to connect with others, and that's all about this fire, no? This fire element from the Chinese point of view has a lot of to do with communication, connection, reaching out,
mm.
in using your voice. Actually, the organ, sensory, or the sensor organ or yeah, sign of the fire is your tongue.
Ah,
Yeah.
I suppose it's like the tongue of the flame of a, the flame of a in a fire
Yeah.
is like a
Well,
tongue,
actually,
isn't it?
when
Yeah.
you go to a Chinese doctor, the point of the tongue, the redness or not, it signals how much yang you have, no?
Ah,
Tongue in
yes.
many ways, no? It's the if you see in our language, no, we also have like savoring life, no? In summer, we are like savoring life, no?
I
Savoring,
love that word, savor.
yeah, savoring life. But also our tongue is the peak, like the peak we see in the peak of the summer, the peak of our communication that comes from inside. There's something forming in our body and getting connected inside that afterwards we just bring outside to the world through words, through the vibration um, of our voice. So
And we're through connection with others. I mean, when you that whole piece around coming out, almost it's a bit like the way we come out into the world through
Mhm.
meeting with people. Even if we are not necessarily have many friends around, we'll be more likely to be out and about in nature. So there's
Mhm.
something around being out of our homes and out of our caves and out of our space
Mhm.
into a new place. And
Mm-hmm.
in doing that, we're more likely to use our voices to talk to other people, whether they're known to us or unknown. So how
Mm-hmm.
are you using your voice and your communication right now?
Well, I actually have been more in a modus of listening, deep listening. Well, you know me already from some years. I love to talk, and all my friends know
Mm,
that I love to talk, and sometimes I am get so passionate about it that I talk too much or too much for other people
mm,
maybe, or I'm very outgoing. And in these times, I have been more like listening,
mm-hmm,
and I'm trying to learn to listen everything, even the my own voice, no, to listen where is my voice coming from, in the sense of what is the feeling or the sensation or the that is accompanying this voice.
mm,
And before recording, I was sharing with you, I have been getting acquaintance with the artificial intelligence, which I for a long time I didn't use that much because I have my narrative and judgments about it, and I
mm,
still believe uh, or I want to believe that it's important to keep the habit of effort, to do your own effort to do things.
yeah,
And but I do see the value of these tools, like how much how much they could improve, no, your way or creating or doing. So
mm,
I've been getting acquaintance with ChatGPT now, and it has. I mean, it has been quite a journey to interact with this tool, and it also made me reflect how is and I also listen to other people saying that, no, it becomes an echo chamber, because
yeah,
at the end, this tool, from my experience, starts to fit into the way you communicate, into the words you use, into the style when you have an account and all this time. And it will become like everything. Even if you look at your Instagram page or your Facebook page or things, it's an echo chamber of who you are, no? Because
yes,
you
absolutely. Yeah,
tend to follow people that resonate with you. We normally don't follow people that, I mean, don't resonate with our belief, our narrative. So
yeah,
it's on one side it's good, and other side we miss some part of the world that is doing something different, or many parts of the world, no?
yeah,
But nonetheless, it's then a good tool to get informed about yourself also, how you communicate. And I had this conversation with ChatGPT yesterday, I think, or I don't know, 2 days ago, about this idea, no, that is not only an echo chambers, but that the style of communication and relationality with a tool or a non-sentient being, or I don't know, something inanimate, um, can help to reflect back on you, how you are using your voice and yourself, and how you are treating a something, or something that, or even sentient beings we treat like somethings, no? When you go to, for example, a restaurant, how do you treat the waitress, or
yeah, yeah.
cleaning people, the people we classify in our minds, sometimes unconsciously, like they are utilitarian and they are there for serving, and you already see it there. So
So they're almost there at your for your beck and call. They're not like fully formed people with their
yeah,
own kind of needs and wants and desires and fears and frustrations, etc. Yes,
yeah,
I think it's so important how we have that kind of same regard for others as we should have for ourselves. And maybe the way we treat others, if we're treating others in a dismissive way, that also could be a reflection on how we are treating ourselves.
yeah, that parts of you that you consider utilitarian, like your body.
Mm, mm,
I mean, for me, it was quite a shift some years ago when I realized I was doing exercises or yoga or things from a mentality of controlling and power. So I think all this
Mm,
communication thing has been reflecting on not only how you treat ChatGPT or how you communicate with
mm,
ChatGPT, how do you communicate with your friends or people through WhatsApp, or how do you communicate with the people cleaning your office if you're in an office,
mm,
or gathering your garbage. And
mm,
also, as you said, this then serves as a reflection, and this is an invitation for people listening to us. Not a judging invitation. It's an invitation, get curious about it, because it
mm,
things on how you relate also to yourself. My body, I used to relate to my body like something it was in pain and I needed to like relax or do something that it's not bothering me and allowing me to do the things I want to do. So sometimes my body was this space or this thing that was stopping or limiting me to do things because if my head was hurting or something like that, or even in the pleasure, no, if you are like putting pressure on how you should perform in every sense to have pleasure, you are using your body in a way, or not seeing that you are your body, and coming again with this relating way of that is a something you need to figure out or to bring to
so there's a, and that's that disconnect, isn't it, that we've talked about? There's a disconnect going on between our
yeah.
mind and our body. Is our and I think you used the word maybe earlier, but it's a control and a command. You're commanding your body to do this and be this, and I'm kind of a bit in that state at the moment with
Mm-hmm.
back recuperation. I want, and then actually that doesn't help because it just becomes like a bit of me that is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
like you say, maybe with the jogging bit or whatever. There's a bit of me that's wrong, and I have to control it. I have to create the
Mm-hmm.
narrative around it.
Mm-hmm. So I would suggest if
Mm,
you just a small exercise, very quick, is not only just to get in touch with this, no? First of all, without doing anything, just get in contact with your voice, because the voice is a good um, thing to get in contact, because it gives you a touch, not a touchable, but something you can listen to and feel where is your voice coming from your body, which part, maybe your chest, maybe it's coming from your belly, is resonating from the whole body or not, is your voice feeling like it's fleeing from your heart, like when we are
mm,
in a hurry, it feels like our voice is also like trying to flee in something,
mm,
our truth, or what we are wanting to, or is unstable or is shaking. No, when we need to confront an authority or to say our truth, sometimes it happened to me. My voice is shaking. So
mm,
it's a good way, as I mean, use ChatGPT to get to know these things, or I also think it's important to shape this tool, but also how is your tool of communication, yourself, your tool in the sense not as a utilitarian thing, but all this beautiful technology that we are, because we are a beautiful piece of Mother Nature technology. And then once you get curious about your voice, take a moment and bring your awareness to your belly, to your belly button, where you have the dantian, the lower dantian, and breathe there. So you take your attention there, and then again you get in contact with your voice and
mm.
sense it and feel it. How is resonated now?
And in terms of the seasons, in
Mhm.
terms of summer, how strong is that voice right now? What what fuel is feeding that fire of your voice?
Mhm.
And it's the fuel that is feeding your fire burning inconsistently, sputtering and, not really sending up lots of smoke and not enough flame?
Mhm.
Or is the fuel damp, so it's not actually catching? or is it burning a bit out of control?
Mm-hmm.
It's become so almost like a inferno, which is actually engulfing you and is not truly what you really want to say.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking just now and leading me into my lower dantian, that's what I was thinking. What does my flame look like? And what is feeding it? What's the energy that is feeding this flame?
Mm-hmm.
And is that flame being fed by negative thoughts or positive thoughts and encounters with the world?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or by fear, by love.
Mm,
I mean,
mm,
it's not from judgment. Let's not approach it from a judgmental way. It's just
mm,
curiosity and say, oh, how do I want to converse with life and
mm,
relate with life, with all life,
mm,
and non-sentient, and with myself, and from where I want to. And sometimes we need to be like firm and fierce, but this fierceness doesn't need because authority doesn't need to be violent.
no, absolutely not.
And
And that's what we're surrounded with in the
yeah,
world. And
you may see it with your dog,
yeah,
maybe, for example. I'm
yeah,
putting the dog in example because you can also see it with your kids, no? When you're
yeah,
a mother and a father. A mother and a father is a journey of getting to know yourself in relation with power. But having a dog, I think, is even more powerful in the sense, or a dog or a cat, because we think that they are another species and maybe in our narrative they are below us or something like that because
mm,
they are
mm,
very dependent. And yeah, it's interesting to observe, okay, when you are the authority because you tell them no there, here, there, or you're always commanding something to the dogs, or how are you commanding them, and also in their whole body expression. You can, if you are curious enough and get in touch, you can see if their submission or their following of your commandment is from fear or
mm.
from a true relationship from heart to heart.
Mm. And for many people, that's going to be quite a challenge because there's a kind of guardedness that we put against our heart,
Mm-hmm.
keeping ourselves safe. We don't want to show that bit of me. I don't want to show that part of me.
Mm-hmm.
But what would it be like if we just dropped that guard, just dropped that and we sort of saw, we communicated with other people in a much more open-hearted way and a curious and exploratory way, which we have also been talking about over the last couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
to sort of find out more, see them in a different way.
Mm. Well, actually, when I listen to you, I think
Judgment.
in the wisdom of in the case of Chinese medicine, which is what I know, but there are many different
Mm,
in the fire. It's the element that has four organs. Normally, there's two organs in each element, but
mm-hmm.
the fire element has the heart, which is
Yeah,
the heart is the sovereign of the body. You were talking
yeah,
about the empress. It could be
yeah.
like an empress, but it's a sovereign that is the authority in the body. Is very important, and it needs three other supporting organs. Imagine that. So it's not like it needs another one, another counterpart, but three others. And these three, the functions, is interesting what you say because the heart is guarding our deepest truth, our soul, our
Mm, deepest
identity,
our soul. Yeah,
our presence. And there's a pericardium. The pericardium is the heart sac or something. It's
yeah.
like it's the heart protector.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean you need protection. The organs, they also know it. The heart needs something like protects against all these spikes and these peaks of changing of energy. And also has another helper, which is the how do you say the large intestine? No, it's the other one.
Yeah, large intestine,
No, the other one.
small intestine, the
Small.
small intestine.
No, I was trying to find the word in English because it came to me in German.
Mm,
So the small intestine is helping to have discernment. I think discernment is a very important thing nowadays, always, but nowadays more than ever,
mm,
to discern what is what is contributing to the health of
So, yeah,
my being, or my what is nourishing and good, and taking care of my heart, and what I need to
get
be
rid of,
get rid
expel.
of.
Yeah,
And then the other organ, which is not an organ in West medicine, is the sanjiao, the triple heater, which some people argue if there's this is this fascia connectivity organ, which helps to regulate between the uh, up, the middle, and the down part of the body, but also regulates our relationality. So it means it regulates how much are we outside, how much are we inside, how much
inside.
are in
Yeah,
the middle. So I think, yeah, this speaks about the maybe inspires in a way how to get into this conversation or in relationality with outside. No, in yeah, you need to have some protection. You cannot, of course, go and and open your heart to everybody like that, but to be careful to whom you open it in a balanced way. No, in
mm,
and also towards yourself. No, how you treat yourself, it's also hurting or not hurting your heart, right? And that speaks about this balance between being outside, inside, which in summer we make it in too quickly, like you say, in the flame. No, I imagine like the in a fire, like this part, these parts in the upper part of the flame, like they go disconnected and they can like jump
jump and start a fire somewhere else.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how is your fire in that sense? Is a fire that is linked to the roots, connected to the ground still, or is just jumping each and everywhere?
Yeah, but I think for me, it's like where is that energy coming from?
Yeah.
Is that energy coming from a place of growth or a place of fear, a place of lack of self-worth or lack of confidence, which can be heard in the voice? I'm going
Hmm.
to pick up here now, just because I'm going to pick up. Is that okay? From
Yeah, yeah,
how is it showing up for me? So
yeah.
there's so much in what you said was really really rich, and I keep on my eyes are drawn to because we're both coaches. You know, we are both coaches, but I do work more so with the ICF than May. I don't know whether I think you do. I'm not sure actually, but I do, and I
Mm-hmm.
have the ICF core competencies on my wall. And communicating effectively is about listening actively and evoking awareness, and that listening piece is a vital part of communicating. And often it's the bit that people forget. They
Mm-hmm.
think it's all about just telling the words and saying the words and asking the questions, but actually it's about the listening actively and um, the showing through the questions you ask or the words that you say or the phrases that you use that you
Mm-hmm.
are with this person and that you are acknowledging their wholeness, you know,
Mm-hmm.
their body language, their phrases they use, the kind of inflection in their voice, the tone of their voice, all of
Mm-hmm.
that is so important. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes through listening actively, which is what you were picking up on through when you were talking, which I think was absolutely key. So for me, July, I was pulled back to an activity I do in between Christmas and New Year, which is picking out an omen card for the 12 days in between Christmas Day and 12 6th of July, 6th of December. And those sort of in the old calendar would have been the spare days, in
Mm-hmm.
the old pagan calendars, that which are the spare days. How are you going to use your year? And I have done this for a couple of years, and I do it because I enjoy doing it. It's not necessarily that I invest a huge amount of like this is really going to happen. I'm not predicting my future, but I
Mm-hmm.
pick a card for each month of the year. So on the 1st of January 2025, for July, I picked the card, the Empress. And I was really happy to pick that card because I picked a couple of more challenging cards for the first 6 months of the year. And I wrote this on the 1st of January, and I thought maybe I'll just share it, just very short. Finally, a card which gives me some hope for this year. a woman surrounded by nature, nature that has been sorely lacking in my life in recent weeks. I can't remember what I've seen in nature these last few days, apart from one or two images that I've pulled from the cards for each month. July, I hope to be a warm month, one where I can be out in my garden surrounded by flowers. And I am taking that into this July, the Empress card. And if you look at the way that people, from the old ways in the old tarot decks to the newer, many new tarot decks that are happening, that are out now, there's usually something around flowers and flourishing and a woman, maybe somebody with very long hair. And I used this affirmation from another book, a Bonnie Greer book. I am a fertile garden in which creativity can be nurtured to flourish.
Hmm.
And that's one of my favorite words, as you can see over my shoulder, flourish. So for me, July is around that nurturing and mothering part
Hmm.
of the Empress card. And in that nurturing and mothering side, we have to start for ourselves. So it's like nurturing my voice, nurturing my fire, nurturing my flame. What is feeding that? What is the fuel I'm putting in here? And I certainly know that in recent, it is about people that I surround myself with, and not so that, because we know that when we look at our social media pages and our friendship groups, we do surround ourselves with people that we kind of have bits of us. So maybe surrounding ourselves also, adding into that mix something new, a slightly different voice,
Hmm.
as a voice that might be a little bit of a challenge, a little
Hmm.
bit of a challenge to our kind of um, view on how the world should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because part of the communication piece is also listening to dissenting voices
Mm-hmm.
and views that may not fit us.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? How do we allow that to happen and not get into the fight,
Yeah.
which the flames like as well? How do we get
Wow.
there?
Yeah.
That's the tough bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why we've got this polarized world right now.
Yeah.
People over here, we've got the people over here, but we need more of the people in the middle.
Yeah.
The people to sit down and say, okay, your view is this, my view is that, but is there any common ground?
Yeah.
What's the common ground between us? What's the common humanity that we have between us? That's tough, isn't it?
Well, some years ago, I used to do the exercise. I am laughing because it's funny and simple. I'm not saying everything goes to that, no, but to help me. I don't know where I read about it, but just to think about everyone is we have the basic needs or longings are the same. So and the common ground, unfortunately, in the humanity, it's fear.
Yeah.
Have a common ground of fear. We all have fear of
So
that.
maybe it's safety and security then, if we're going to
Yeah,
make that
safety,
positive.
security,
Safety,
connection,
security.
and being seen, no? And also,
Yes.
of course, there's the common ground of love. Now we are longing to
Mm-hmm.
be loved, to be seen, to connect. And I'm laughing because everybody goes to the toilet. And so, it helped me. I was like nervous and I had a meeting with someone, for example, in my previous job that maybe was a director or someone very important. And I was nervous. I also used this exercise just to bring it down to his humanity. And I was thinking, this
Mm.
man is also afraid of that of death as me. This man also goes to the toilet as me every day because he cannot control not going to the toilet. And this man also longs to be loved.
Mm.
And at the end, it's like the pattern and all our narratives we are built. We think I mean, it's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's people think we experience things, and that we when we talked about facts, especially when you are scientist, and then you think you are neutral and objective. But no, even and there has been research studying showing that the observer influences the result,
Yeah, the outcome.
the
Absolutely.
outcome.
Yeah.
And you build narratives around an outcome that fit
Mm,
your worldview. And what you
mm,
said is getting maybe in touch more with different way of thinking or living the world that you never
mm.
thought about it, no?
So there's something about maybe for this month, and we're inviting our listeners and viewers. It's something around that. You use the word dehumanize. So let's think about what makes you human.
Mm,
What is making you human? How are you communicating? What's feeding your fire?
mm,
How can you make your fire burn in a way that is nurturing, because I want to use that word, nurturing, and helps others flourish,
mm,
which is not a destructive flame.
mm-hmm,
That is a completely kind of like in terms of let's make people more human. And in fact, actually, the lovely discussion about chat GPT,
mm-hmm,
he's saying the letters wrong. We in our pre-chat before we started recording, you talked about how it's important to have voices like yours and mine in there. Because
mm-hmm.
actually, if this non-sentient being at the moment is hearing just negative stuff and commands and control and destruction, that's what it's going to then start to spew out. So actually, we have a duty to share the more creative and enriching and curious conversations as well,
Yeah,
which would then it can use in its data when sharing with other people around the world.
yeah. It's an opportunity, I think, my view nowadays is an opportunity to get our voice out there. Sometimes we feel with all the turmoil happening in the world, no, you may think, and I think myself sometimes, that our voices or what we feel, that we feel more like, or I feel the longing and the wish for the world, that we learn to live in peace, and that we see that at the end we can cooperate and live in another world. And sometimes I get the feeling of I'm overwhelmed because I think, okay, it's my tiny voice or a few people or these things. But actually, it's amazing with the chat GPT, which is, and it's also what happened with the social media and all this stuff. No, it has all these negative aspects and algorithm, but thanks to social media, I got to know you because
Mm,
I'm into all these tools and technology,
mm,
because I could participate in a training that otherwise I could have not been able to
yeah.
participate in the past, no? And now with ChatGPT, I think we are in a point we have the opportunity to shape this tool to get our voices out there, not only with opinions, but in the way which we communicate and relate and learn. It's learning as an echo chamber. If you see my chat GPT is a reflection of me, it's always very poetic and mystical. And each time, even when we discuss things that are like more like my CV or something, it's always
Mm,
telling me, "Do you want to put it at poetica?" Because it already knows me, no. But
yeah.
yeah, but maybe the world needs something about my poetic way of being a mystical, and then it will need more of Sam or thing. But if we don't get in contact with that, there will be it will not
Yeah.
be our voices out there in that platform
Okay. And but for
without
the
losing
people,
ourselves in there, no?
so there's still though. Let's go back to in July. Focus on what helps you be more human.
Yeah.
What human bits of you are you connecting with, and who are the humans that you are with, and are they that's a yes or no question. That's not very good for a coach, is it? How are they enriching you? How are they helping you be more human? how are they humanizing you? Oh, lots of questions there. Question
Mm,
stacking, Sam. How are your contacts humanizing you?
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pause here. Is that okay, Gabby?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Oh, thank you, Sam. And just bring your attention that when you say what makes you human, you touch your
mm,
heart. We all know that
mm,
instinctively. So get in touch with your heart, see what
mm,
is the garden inside. And when you made this also, no, but I cannot avoid being the somatic coach I am.
yeah,
Like this, how
embodied.
people, no, and how
Yeah.
people, how because it's a circular, it's a going
Mm,
out, coming in, going out, and it's a dynamic process. So
absolutely.
thank you very much, everybody, listening to us. If you like, please share,
Yes.
subscribe, leave a comment, and join this exploration, this dynamic way of being and humanizing this world more and more. Until next time,
Bye.
bye.